good morning. This is AKA Heather Joy, and you have boarded the lifeboat. If it was not for this little lady right here, this is Nix, as in Stevie Nicks. If it wasn't for her, I would not be here. I don't know. I remember setting my alarms. I don't remember them going off. I don't remember turning I don't remember turning them off, but she wanted breakfast, so I'm here, hat and everything. I know it's shadowing my face, but I'm not at home. I don't have my lights, so I'm sorry. But hey, I'm awake. Oh, hello, here she is again. And thank goodness for this little girl and her. Anyway, I hope you guys are well this morning. Before I get started, let me just run through the rules that we have here on the boat just quickly. The first one is please refrain from discussing politics in the live chat and the comment section. It's just a little too triggering. We'll leave that to Tommy. He's good at it and he knows when it's appropriate. And the second rule, please no overbearing religion. This isn't a religious channel. It's perfectly fine to say things like, hey, I'm going to pray for you, or, I could not have found sobriety without God. That's fine, but please don't shove your religion down anyone else's throat. The third rule we have is please refrain from cursing in the comment section and the live chat especially. We all slip up. I did yesterday. Didn't mean to. But sometimes things escape, but as Tommy always says, if you can't control your mouth, then you can't control your life. And yeah, I kind of slipped yesterday. Sorry, guys. Anyway, here you go over there, darling. There we go. All right. And the fourth rule we have here is please no trolls. And Bruce Wayne, if you are listening, behave yourself. I'm warning you, behave yourself or you will be banned. I did not realize what was going on yesterday morning. So yeah, there's just no room on this channel for people being mean. We won't put up with it. And I apologize to everyone who had to put up with it yesterday morning. So okay, guys, I will be trying to pay better attention to what's going on in the chat. Also, if you would please, if you haven't hit that like button, please exit out of the chat, hit that like button, and then come back in. It just signals to the algorithm that this is a channel people are engaged with, and hopefully, YouTube will push our channel a little bit. We really do want to reach as many people as we can. So please share these videos. Please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Let's see. Let me pull up the chat here. Dennis N. Mind Games, Lemmy, Balake, Dennis N. Trish Killian, Paul Sargent. Let's see. Allison. Tim of 28 is absolute. JT is here. Let's see. Virginia, good morning. It amazes me. It's early and I'm not a morning person. I know it's the weekend. Here you guys all are to listen to me babble. It still blows my mind that you guys show up, but it's you guys that make this work. It's you guys that make this whole channel work. So thank you for coming this morning. You guys are awesome. One of the first things when I first discovered the channel, I guess it was last October, one of the first things I heard Tommy and Mark talking about was that for most addicts, they just don't feel comfortable in their own skin. I remember Tommy talking about that specifically, and I've heard him, talk about that many times. So I was trying to figure out what I wanted to talk about this morning, and I was going through different articles and trying to put some notes together, and I came across an article Honey, what are you doing? You're up and down. Man, up and down all over the cat. Let's see. Anyway, here I find this article, and I love this. This is perfect. This is just what we need. I found this article called 10 Special Traits of People Who Are Comfortable in Their Own Skin. I thought, oh, this is just what we need. This is just what we need. So I want to take a lot of what I want to talk to you guys about from this article. I'm pulling things from a lot of different places. Oh, and I just knocked my camera over. All right. Come on, sit still here. I can't wait to get home tomorrow to my studio, my office, my stuff. And a cat that doesn't jump in my lap and bite me every 10 minutes. Anyway, let's see, I better make sure. Yeah, you guys can see me. Okay. Let me pop back to my notes. Okay. So, this article talks about the lady that has written it. She said that when she started this journey as an adult, she just did not feel comfortable with herself. And she thought that, maybe, being confident was part of the struggle. And she thought that she was inherently flawed, and that confidence is maybe just something that you numb yourself to. You just numb yourself to that belief. Or I really don't understand exactly what she was saying there, but she said that's not what it is. She said she really moved from survival mode to thrive mode. And she really did figure out how to be comfortable in her own skin and gain real confidence. And, as addicts, that is something we definitely need, especially at the beginning, when you're just trying to find sobriety and you're trying to hang on to it. Our self-esteem has really taken a beating if we had it at all. It's something really difficult. And so I really think this is something that we can all benefit from, talking about this. And anyway, this article, she talks about 10 different traits that people that really are comfortable in their own skin have. And I love the first one. And this is something that was just stood right out to me, because this is something I was just talking with somebody about yesterday. And according to what she has written, the number one trait that people that are comfortable in their own skin, the number one trait that they have is they don't take things personally. I need that. I need that. I needed to read that last night, and I need to remind myself today. This is something I definitely need to work on, because I really do very often take things personally, and I really shouldn't. And I really like how she explains about this. And she explains how, everybody has their own personal perception, and it's connected to how they feel on the inside. So she says when you go in to do the work within yourself, you have to disconnect yourself from false beliefs, from biases, that have been kind of implanted in you from childhood. And she says it's really easy to see it, first of all, in other people. People that have an insecure mindset, they're going to perceive, I'm trying hard. I apologize, guys. This is hard to explain. When people, when people say something to you and you find it offensive, you really shouldn't take it personally, because if it's something hurtful that's coming from someone else and it's directed at you, and you take offense to it, that's, it's just not a good thing. And you need to understand that the person is reacting that way because of their perception, and it's based on what they feel inside themselves. And so it's just plain silly to take anything personally. I really had to think about that for a minute, but it is true. People, everybody has their own perception and their own mindset, and you really do have to understand that people's reactions, they're just going by what they feel inside for themselves. So if something comes across to you as offensive, um, it serves you no good. And I looked up a couple of things. Let me pull up these notes right here. Hello, here she is again. Let me pull up these notes. I looked up specifically, how do you not take things personally? And this was really interesting. I was looking at a bunch of different places, and I'm trying to pull together different things that I thought would try to help explain this principle. And the first point that I think is important when you are trying to not take things personally is, the first thing, you need to question your own negative beliefs. But let me see if I can explain this. Say you are walking down the street one day and you see someone walking towards you, and it's someone somebody that you consider a friend, and you greet them and you say hello to them, and they don't even look up, they don't acknowledge you, they walk right by. And of course you're going to go, whoa, what, wait, what, what did I, what's wrong here, what did I do wrong? And you might take it personally, but you need to remember there are many reasons why that person may not have acknowledged you. Maybe they were so trapped in their own mind, in their own thoughts, that they really didn't even see you. Maybe they're just in a real big hurry and they just don't have time to talk to you. I mean, it could be a lot of different reasons, but it doesn't do you any good to get upset. Taking things personally is really emotionally draining. And it's really important that you reflect on your own behavior. If you are secure in who you are, if you are happy with who you are, and someone blows you off like that, you really just need it really serves you no good. It is emotionally draining to take it personally. It's really a good idea just to let it go, and just remember there's probably a good reason why. If you have done nothing wrong, stick with your guns, and know, be secure with yourself, and know that it wasn't you. But it's something that you really have to work on. This is a difficult thing to overcome. And I'm telling you guys, I need this, because very often I take things personally and I get offended when I shouldn't. And I need to remember this. This is such a good lesson for me. The second point that I think is important to talk about is, it's really important that you don't assume that you know everything. And I was listening to a podcast a couple of days ago, and I think this illustrates it well. There was a lady that was the guest on this podcast, and I don't remember what her business was, but she started her own business and it was going remarkably well. And she did really well. She was very successful, but she reached a point where it just didn't feel like this was the direction she should continue in. And she did a lot of soul searching and decided, what, I'm going to sell this business. I'm going to take a year off. I'm going to travel. I'm going to decide what I need to do next. It was just something she felt deep in her heart. And at first she was really worried about what everybody else would think about her. And, she thought about all the other people in business that she really respected. And she was thinking, oh, what are they going to think of me? How are they going to judge me? What are they going to think? And she simply assumed that, her colleagues would think she was being irresponsible for leaving, such a good business. And she automatically started to feel hurt. And she said, you cannot assume that you know what other people are thinking. And about a year later, after she had done her traveling and she came back and she started something very different, she ran into one of her colleagues, and it was somebody that she really, really respected. And the lady told her, she said, I wish I had the guts to do what you did. She said, I don't have that level of self confidence. I wish I had the courage to do what you did, to drop everything and decide, where my heart really is and what my passion really is. And she was like, wow, you really can't assume that you know what other people are thinking. I think that's really key to not taking things personally. And I think another point here is, it's really important that you understand that everything is not all about you. And again, I go back to that instance where you're walking down the street and you see an acquaintance and they don't even acknowledge you. Again, if they were rude to you, maybe they're having a really bad morning. Maybe they're going through a divorce, or something horrible, or maybe they're someone in their life has just discovered they've got cancer. I mean, it could be so many things. But again, you need to stick with your self-confidence, with yourself, and know deep inside that you are not flawed. You didn't do anything to deserve someone being rude to you, but there's probably a good reason, and it things just aren't all about you. And I thought that was really, really some good points. And I thought, I need to remember these things, and I need to not take things personally, because we are all just, all we have to go on is our own perception. Everybody has different beliefs. Everybody's been raised differently. Everybody thinks differently. We're not always going to agree, but all we have to go on is just our own perception and our own experiences. And everybody is struggling with the same thing. And I always find it interesting. People that I notice are very self-centered, and they come across as they think that they are better than you. It's really, they're just projecting. They feel so insecure and so empty inside that they are projecting and trying to gain validation from everything around them. And there's a couple that my husband and I wouldn't call them friends. I'd call them acquaintances that live near us. And this couple, both my husband and I are rather athletic, and we race. And my husband's a world-class athlete. He's amazing, and we really like Spartan races. They're not easy. They're not easy, and I'm not up to it this year. But there's this couple that we know. They are very athletic. They both had scholarships in track. Just very, very athletic people, and they are very successful in the different. I don't want to say too much, so I don't want to say who it is or anything, but the area where they compete in athletics, they are very good, and they come out on top. But they tried Spartan, and they couldn't hack it. Spartan's takes everything in you, because it's not just running, it's climbing mountains, it's doing obstacles, it's your whole body. It's not just running, it's your whole body's got to be strong to be able to hack these. And then it's like, some of these races, like my husband did a 34-mile race earlier this year. Some of them are really grueling, but it was just really funny. This couple, as soon as they tried Spartan and they couldn't hack it. I mean, one of them didn't even finish the race. They started treating us very differently. And it drives my husband crazy. They always come across, as looking down on everybody and being so much better than everybody. It's just been really interesting to watch how they've treated us ever since that. I think it's so funny. It drives my husband nuts. He can't stand them. And I just have to remind him, you know what? The reason people are behaving that way is because they really are insecure inside. That's what's going on. And please remember that, that a lot of times when people behave that way, they really are insecure. And, again, it's just important not to take things personally. And that's something I really need to work on. And I hope I explained that well. It's sometimes I have a difficult time putting across how I understand things. But anyway, the thing, second characteristic that people really are, when people that are comfortable in their own skin, the second characteristic is that they believe in their own potential. I love this one. Um, your potential isn't something definite. It's rather that it's seeing yourself as limitless, not empty inside, but capable. And people that are comfortable in their own skins, they have maybe an affinity would be a good word. They have an affinity for variety and for change, and they're always looking to expand their world. They're always learning new things, seeking out new experiences. They're always trying to figure out, they're looking for a wider view of the world. And they know that, inside they know that they are capable of anything that they want to do. But it's also important that they don't expect themselves to be perfect. It's funny. It's important that you can believe you can do anything, but it's important that you make sure you are not a perfectionist about it. When all of you that are perfectionists know it is exhausting, and it's something I have been working on for decades to overcome. I'm getting better. I'm getting better at letting things go that aren't important and that really don't matter. I'm really I've had to prioritize a lot of things and just stick to the most important things. And there are a lot of things I have to let go, but things in my life aren't perfect at all. My house is clean, but sometimes it's cluttered, and my yard is not perfect. But it's there's just, I hope you understand what I'm saying. You don't have to be perfect. But it's really important that again, that you understand, you know you it's really important to believe in yourself and understand that your potential is limitless. But you don't have to be perfect at everything. And it's really important that you don't stick on perfection, because it's really important to preserve your energy so that you can put it into the things that you want to learn, that you want to do. I hope that one makes sense. But it's really important, that you preserve your energy and not be absolutely perfect in everything. That way you have more energy and more time and more space to basically, light a fire within yourself for the things that you want to do. I hope that makes sense. The third characteristic is people that are comfortable in their own skin. They take their time. And patience is something else I really need to work on. But I was thinking about this. Sometimes being patient with someone else in your life is one of the most loving things you can do. And I always think, every time I think of patience, I look at my husband and how patient he has been with me. We've been married 18 and a half years now. And the first half of our marriage required an extreme amount of patience out of him. While I slayed all my demons. Well, I haven't slayed all my demons yet, but I slayed a lot of them. But, I was a mess for a long time, and, trying to overcome my addiction and everything. He's been there the whole time, and he's been very patient. He hasn't been pushy. He's a very, very wise guy. And he knows that, if you want someone to discover themselves and just begin to like themselves and begin to discover who they are and grow and flower, it takes time and it takes patience. And thank goodness he has been very patient with me. But I think that's the best way you can show other people that you love them, is to be patient with them. I think there's, you can always cross the line, if your patience, if being patient with someone, I think they can always cross the line, and it can be destructive too. You need to make sure that you have your boundaries. But it's really important to be patient with other people, but it's also important that you show yourself patience. Let's see, I think where did I have, there it is. Yeah, like I said, I'm just pulling a lot of my ideas from different places, trying to put these together. Let's see. But it's really, being patient with ourselves, that's a tough one, especially when you're at the beginning of sobriety. You want so badly to get control of your life again, and you want so badly, for the relationships to be fixed, for finances to be fixed, for there's just so many things that we have to pick up the pieces of our lives. And it would be nice to have a quick fix, but quick fixes never really last. And um, I was looking at something. It said that I was looking at a statistic, and there was a study done and involved 3,000 Americans. And what they found was that 45% of millennials say that they feel less patient than they did 5 years ago, and they blame technology. Think about it. On social media, every time you get a like, you get that little burst of dopamine, um, and it really has changed people. We are very, people that are addicted to social media, they are not patient. They're used to that instant gratification. So this is something, I think, is something a lot of us really can benefit from, working on patience. And being impatient also really increases your stress. And chronic stress causes health problems. It can be a problem. So there are a couple of things that you can do to try to practice patience, especially with yourself. And the first thing I think that is really, really helpful here is practicing mindfulness. When you're impatient, you've got so many negative feelings, and negative thoughts that are going around in your brain. If you can, sit down, if you can meditate, or if you can journal, or however you prefer to meditate, there's so many different ways, but it's really important that you quiet yourself, quiet your mind, quiet your body, and start to identify these feelings. And it's really important, to take some deep breaths and start to examine your emotions and your thoughts, and try to figure out which ones are really overpowering you. I think that's a real big key to patience. It's just getting in touch with yourself, first of all. Another thing that's very helpful with patience is being grateful. And I talk about that one a lot, but gratitude, there's so much research, scientific evidence that shows how beneficial gratitude is. Think of things that you are grateful for when you are impatient and you've got all those negative feelings going, and negative thoughts. Being grateful will really help calm you and help you to make better decisions. It really helps change your perspective, and that is so important. When you get a change of perspective and you can see things a little better at how they really are. It's also really important that you practice acceptance. And I just thought, let me just make sure there's nothing bad going on here in the chat. Okay, well, it doesn't look like looks like Alfred kept him home in the Batcave, and that's fine with me. Okay. Anyway, practicing acceptance, that's a difficult one, especially addicts. There's a lot of bad choices that we've made, and a lot of mistakes, a lot of destruction, and we don't like ourselves. And so it's really a process to get to where you know yourself and you look at yourself and you realize, hey, I'm really good at these things, I'm really bad at these things, I've made these mistakes. But it's really important that you can take all that in and just accept yourself as you are. I'm not saying, just stay where you are. Everybody, um, I think it's just human nature. We always have a need to keep moving forward and to better ourselves and to learn new things and everything. I think it's really important to keep moving forward, but I also think it's really important that you accept yourself, flaws, talents, everything. That's a really important one. Another thing with impatient, I mean, with trying to be patient with yourself is you need to become comfortable with being uncomfortable. This is that takes some self discipline, some self control, and that's important. But um, it really is important that you get used to being uncomfortable. That's why one of the reasons why we have been addicts is we don't like feeling uncomfortable. We don't like being impatient. We don't like those feelings. It's something that you have to just learn to sit with. I think it's really important to also, just try to have a much more positive mindset while you're trying to be patient with yourself. And it's important, I think, to not take everything too seriously. Sometimes you do need to relax and have fun, like we did last night, with the trivia that we do on Saturday nights. But I think those are some important things to think about in being patient. I hope this is making sense. Um, but show yourself some patience. Um, the fourth characteristic of people that are comfortable in their own skin is they practice. She calls it radical candor. Um, this is kind of an interesting one. But, people that are really comfortable with themselves, um, they're honest. They're very honest. But they're honest. They're sincere in it. When they say something, it's from a place of sincerity. It's not being reactive. And you know what? I love people that just tell it like it is. Sometimes things can come across harsh, and again, it's important to not take things too personally. But I really appreciate people that are just dead honest with me, and I really appreciate them because I know I can go to that person and ask them anything, and they're going to be honest, regardless of whether it's going to hurt or not. I think there are ways that you can not be brutally honest. I think that takes a little bit of self-control, but I think it is important that you're honest in everything. um, you have to let go of the need to control every single emotion. You don't have to be responsible for how other people feel. You just need to be responsible for you. You need to be true to yourself. And that comes from being honest. um, I really like that idea. As addicts, we get really good at lying because we try to hide for a very long time the things that we're doing. We know that the choices that we make when we are in addiction aren't good. There's a lot of bad things that we do, a lot of dishonest things that we do, that we say, that we hide from people. So honesty is something that we really have to work on. But I really like this idea, and like I said, I really appreciate people that are just honest. I know where I stand with them. I appreciate it. I've learned to love those people that in my life that are like that. Anyway, the fifth characteristic is people that are comfortable in their own skin. They're empowered. Now, empowerment isn't having control or being in a position of authority. That's not what it is. What it is more having control over your own emotions, having control over your thoughts. I mean, that right there is true empowerment. um, and that comes from an understanding of yourself, but also an understanding of the world. you know um, when we grow up and we become adults and we get into life, we start to realize that beneath the surface of our society, of our culture, and especially if you start digging into history, you realize that things aren't quite as they seem. I'm sure you guys understand what I mean here, but it's really important that you have an understanding of things like that, and you understand how things work, just in our society. I think that's also a part of being empowered, is having that understanding and knowing who you are, having control of yourself and knowing where you stand in the world, where your position is. I think that's a good. I don't know how to explain this one very well. I apologize, guys. I'm trying here. Um, I think empowered people, you will notice, like I said, it's not coming from a place of, wanting control or having authority over other people. People that are empowered, that have control of themselves, of their emotions, of their thoughts, they lift other people up as well. And they don't do it for any other reason other than just, sincerely wanting to help other people. And I love that. I love people that empower others and that don't seek to have control over other people. I like those kind of people. Um, let's see. The sixth characteristic is really that was a good segue. The sixth characteristic is people. They're comfortable with themselves. They uplift others. Empowering others. So it's um, people that feel truly at home with themselves. They accept themselves, and they tend to spread that self acceptance everywhere that they go. um, I'm trying to think of a good example of how to explain this one. um, People, when you see people in your community that are very kind and very generous and very helpful to other people, but they're not doing it to get accolades. They're not taking pictures of themselves doing something nice and then posting it, to get clout, online. That's people that uplift other people. They're doing it from a genuine place in their heart. It's a sincere desire to help and uplift. I really love people like that. But people that are comfortable with themselves, are willing to help other people and not expect anything in return. That's okay. That's a good way to explain it. And they don't look at life as a competition. They want to be the best that they can be, and they want to help everyone else around them be the best they can be as well. And I love those kind of people. Let's see. The seventh characteristic is people that are comfortable with themselves. They're satisfied. Social media, that's a big problem. It's really hard. If you spend a lot of time on Facebook, Instagram, and Snapchat, and even YouTube. Sometimes I hadn't really thought about YouTube being a source of that. Because and then I thought about it. I think, wait a minute, the things that I watch on YouTube, lots of documentaries, lots of learning. I don't spend time listening to people who are, trying to. I don't listen to people that are on the internet, and on YouTube just to get more followers. I mean, they're there presenting what they have a passion for. That's the kind of stuff that I watch. But I was thinking about it, and I thought, there are a lot of YouTube channels that are just like Instagram or Facebook, where people are just trying to present their very best, and they're trying to be perfect. And if you buy into that, if you spend hours scrolling through that, you start to see what other people want you to see, and you start to think, compare yourself to them, and that's just not a good thing. I think it's really important that you stay away from social media as much as possible. um, it's just it puts so much pressure on you to be perfect, to look a certain way, or to dress a certain way, or to have a certain status. um, I don't know. It's just it's rather toxic, I think. People that are truly happy with themselves, they're satisfied with where they are and what they have. They appreciate the things that they have. They appreciate um their family and their friends and the people in their lives and the things that they do have. I don't think that it's just, again, I don't think it's just saying, hey, I'm happy where I am, and just staying there. I think it is just the human condition. There's always something more to do. There's always something more to learn. And I don't think that's wrong, but I really think it can go overboard. But it really is important to just be happy with yourself, be satisfied with where you are. And it starts, I think, by just trying to find pleasure in the little things. Like, I just moved very recently, and let's see, yeah, the beginning of July we started our move, and we finally everything moved over to our new place, and there are a bunch of rabbits. Somebody, we live out where it's just farms, and I love it. Very close to our chicken farm now, thank goodness. But somebody had a bunch of rabbits as pets, and they got loose, and nobody bothered to bring them back in. And you know how rabbits breed, so they're bunnies running around all over the place, and they seem to like our yard. And I'm not helping that, because I like to leave them treats, and, and I put water and things out for them, and the little stinkers ate my herb garden, so I'm going to have to do something about that. But I love it. They're so sweet and gentle, and they're tame. I can walk right up to them. I haven't been able to pet any of them. They won't let me do that, but I can walk. I mean, get very close to them. I just enjoy that. I know it might sound silly, but I love, looking out and seeing one of the rabbits in our yard. I love my chickens. I just, it's just little things like that. That's where you start, just enjoying the little things that are around you. If your cat jumps in your lap, just take a minute, sit still, and pet your cat, and you know enjoy the feeling of, the soft fur on your hand, and the vibrations from your cat's purring in your lap. Just enjoy those little things. That's when you really, become alive. Don't compare what you have and who, and what you look like. Don't compare that to other people and what people are presenting online, because they really are trying to present how they want you to see, and you're not seeing, in many cases you're not seeing the real thing. So I think that's an important one. Just, be satisfied with who you are and what you have. The eighth characteristic is, people that are comfortable with themselves in their own skin. They believe in balance. And this is an interesting one. There's a lot of ways that our lives, it's important to have balance. um I'm trying to think, where should I start on this one? I think it's really important to have, let me think a second. How do I want to explain this one? Balance. I think I know where I want to go with this one. I think it's really important that you are always working to better yourself, whatever your job is. um, it's really important to try to do your best there. But it's also important, that goes back to perfectionism again, trying to be perfect at every little thing is really putting a lot of pressure on you. And I think it's really important, whatever you have a passion for, whatever your job is, it's really important to do your best there. But you also can't be stuck there. That can't be where all of your attention and all your energy is going to. There are many other aspects to life. There's your family, there's it's really important to take care of you. And especially, when we're trying to get sober and we're trying to hang on to that sobriety, it's such a difficult time. And it's really important that you take time out and take care of yourself. If you're not taking care of yourself and you're not working to hold on to that sobriety, everything else that you're trying to do it's going to fall apart. You have to take care of you first, so that you can take care of all the other things, all your responsibilities, and take, all the people in your life. And you know what I'm saying? It's important that you have some balance. Um, and I think it's really important that you have balance, in every aspect of your life. Think about just the world in general. There's duality everywhere. There's good and there's bad, and they don't cancel each other out. They exist together. And and there's always that balance. And I think, we need to just incorporate a balance in everything that we do. Yeah, that's kind of a tough one, especially when it comes to taking care of yourself. But it's something that I think we really can benefit from. I read, what was it? Somebody. Yeah, I lost that thought. Sorry. Maybe it'll come back to me in a minute. Anyway, the ninth characteristic is people that are comfortable in their own skin is they're open-minded. And being open-minded might give you the reputation of being kind of unconventional. Guys, there's nothing wrong with that. I have always been kind of an outsider in everything that I've done. I always knew, even when I was a very young kid, I knew that I didn't think about things, and I didn't see things the way that my friends did. And I always did feel rather outside. And there was just something deep within me that I did not like, going along with everybody else. I'm not, how do I explain that one? I don't know. I've always been one that likes to go against the grain in a lot of things. But I do really try to keep an open mind. If you looked at the different things the podcasts that I listen to and the videos that I watch on YouTube and things like that, you probably be a little perplexed, because it's a rather eclectic mix. I really do try to keep an open mind. I know what my beliefs and my values are, but I do like to learn from other people, from other cultures, from other societies, from, I don't know, I think that's really important, to be open-minded. There's a lot you can learn from being open-minded, and you can learn a lot from other people. You don't have to let go of what's important to you and what you value. But I think it's important to have an open mind about things. And I'm trying to think of a good example. And you guys know that I am LDS. That is my faith. That's my religion. But I love to study scripture with people from other faiths. I love to hear what other religions, how they view things, how they interpret scriptures. I find that when I listen to other people, as you know, when as far as other faiths, other doctrines, other interpretations of scripture, things like that, it just adds to my own understanding of my own faith. And um, I, I don't know. That's the only thing I can really think of to illustrate what I'm trying to say. But it really does. It just to adds to my own understanding of how I understand my own personal faith. I hope that makes sense. But I think, people that are confident in themselves and they're comfortable with themselves, they enjoy, learning new things and being open minded. And you never know what you can learn. I think that's an important one. Anyway, the 10th and the final characteristic that I found is people that are comfortable in their own skin are kind of magnetic. If you can be yourself, and be, if you can accept yourself, if you can be confident in yourself, it shows. If you have a more positive mindset, and if you're open minded and you're willing to consider other things, you just you have a different energy about you, when you can become more positive and be more accepting of yourself and be more comfortable with yourself. You attract what you're feeling. The I'm sorry, guys, I'm trying to explain this. I'm still like I'm half asleep. We all have, every cell in our body vibrates. And when you are when you're in drug addiction, when you are depressed, when you're struggling, the level, the vibrations, they're rather low. But when you are able to, like I said, to accept yourself, to be more confident, and to be able to have a more positive outlook, it raises your whole vibration, and you attract the same vibration of where you are. So you're going to, when you find, when you can really start to get your life together and feel good about yourself, it shows, and people are attracted to that. And people that are similar to you, you find that you're meeting all these new people. And I don't know, I've seen it in my own life happen all the time. But you really do, it makes you kind of magnetic, in a way. It attracts people that are striving for the same things that you're striving for. And I think it comes down to just being authentic. I think it's really important that you come to grips with who you are. And it's so important to just be yourself. You don't have to be anything for anyone else. You need to be true to you. When you're true to yourself, that gets rid of a lot of the angst and all of those negative feelings that we want so badly to mask, and that's why we are in our addiction so often. Anyway, just something to end with. I know sometimes it might seem maybe a little conceited or narcissistic to focus on loving yourself, but it's really not. The point isn't to believe that you're better than other people, or to accept things about yourself that I think you need. It's good to accept things about yourself that you really do need to change. But it's just about being healthy. Developing like a healthy, nurturing relationship with yourself. You need to love yourself. You need to be committed to who you are. You need to be true to you. And it shows people that do love themselves. It shows. And people like that, you want to be around people like that. I just encourage you guys, I know how much pain addiction brings. Been there. I know the discouragement. I know the pain. I know how depressed and just how awful it can be. And it just seems so overwhelming. When you're trying to get sober, it just seems like trying to get your life together is something just absolutely insurmountable. It's not. And I promise every single one of you, you have what it takes inside to overcome your obstacles and to rise up, and you can learn to love yourself again. And then, once you get there, you're able to lift other people up, and it's a beautiful thing. And that's what I love about the boat is, we're coming together and we're helping one another, and in the process we're growing and we're becoming, and it's such a beautiful thing. And again, I apologize, guys, for I'm really struggling today to articulate what's up here and what's here, and I'm not doing a good job today, and I'm sorry, but I'm trying. But let me pop back over here to the comments and see. Oh, John Doe came in. I know, Nick's. I'm so glad she woke me up. Anyway, hey, Goosebump and James and Chris and Rick. Let's see, Mind Games. Were you here before? I don't remember, but let's see. Seventh is here. Who else has popped in? It still just blows my mind that you guys get up. This is the weekend. You should be able to sleep in, but here you guys are listening to me try to rattle out something. You guys are awesome. Let's see. I don't want to miss anybody. If I miss saying good morning to you, I apologize. Oh, there's Full of Hope and M. Hunt. Let's see. M. Hunt says, I wouldn't have been uncomfortable in 1,000 other places. I hated school. I hated the kids. I hated the places and the attitude and everything that went with school. Me too. My word, do I understand what you're saying, M. Hunt. Yes. I could not wait to get out of high school. Oh, yuck. I hated it. I just couldn't wait to get out of there. I know what you mean. Wait, Full of Hope. Oh, you watch Patriot Nurse? She's awesome. I actually been able to go to some of her classes, and she's amazing. Love that lady. Let's see. Just trying to see if I missed anything. I probably have missed a lot of things, but you guys, the longer I do this, the better I'll get at it. And I appreciate you being patient with me. You guys are amazing. Anyway, I don't know what. Today is the 30th. And if I remember correctly, that is the date that Tommy started this channel 2 years ago. So I'm thinking he'll probably be on a few times today, but yeah, this is such a beautiful thing. I'm curious where he thought he would be in 2 years, if he thought that we would be at over 5,000 subscribers. This is such a cool thing, and I love it that I have found the boat and I found you guys and I get to be a part of this. This is awesome thing, and it's because of you guys. It really is. Anyway, I hope you guys have a wonderful Sunday. Relax, enjoy the little things, and remember, you really are capable of overcoming anything. You guys, I have been rock bottom. I have been in and out of psych wards. I've been a mess, and I've been able to overcome a lot of things. And if I can do that, you can do that. I mean, I was pretty darn pathetic. You guys can do this. I believe in you. I know you can do it. Anyway, have a great Sunday. I will talk to you guys again tomorrow. Let's see ya.